Oh, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. From the Channel 9 studio, this is Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33. And for those of you that don't know, tonight was the last games of the NBA regular season. So we are now heading towards the playoffs and the play-ins. But before we get through all that, we're just going to look at the scores and some maybe some stats because I know a lot of people did not play today. But we're going to look at the scores and records because that's going to lead us to the playoff version inside of this year's play-in tournament. So let's just go ahead and get to that. We're going to start. We can go ahead and look at the totality. We see that the Detroit Pistons they defeated the Indiana Pacers 133 to 121. With the win, the Detroit Pistons go to 60 and 22. Congratulations on their 60th win of the season. It's been a while since they reached that plateau of 60 wins. Excuse me. And they are the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. With the loss, the Pacers finished the season at 19 and 63. In Philadelphia, the Sixers 126, the Milwaukee Bucks 106. With that win, the Sixers go to 45 and 37, and with that loss, the Bucks finished the season 32 and 50. Also, after this game, it was released that Doc Rivers and the Milwaukee Bucks are parting ways. We will speak about that a little later because it's a lot of mess that's going on in Milwaukee between the front office, Doc Rivers, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So we'll speak about that in a second. The Boston Celtics defeated the Orlando Magic 113 to 108 with the win. The Celtics go to 56 and 26. With the loss, the Orlando Magic go to 45 and 37. Now we just heard that the Magic and the Sixers have the same record. That's why we'll look at standings a little bit later. Also, the Boston Celtics are the number two seed in the Eastern Conference. The Cleveland Cavaliers 130, the Washington Wizards 117 with the win. The I almost said the Rockets. That's the WNBA former team. Excuse me, y'all. The Cavs go to 52 and 30 with the loss. The Wizards finish the season 17 and 65. In Miami, the Heat 143, the Hawks 117 with the win. The Heat finish off the season 43 and 39. With the loss, the Hawks finished 46 and 36. At the Garden, we had the Charlotte Hornets defeated the New York Knicks 110 to 96. With the win, the Hornets go to 44 and 38. With the loss, the Knicks go to 53 and 29. In Toronto, the Raptors 136. The Brooklyn Nets 101. The Raptors go to 46 and 36 with the victory. The Nets finished the season 20 and 62. So they got some ping pong to look at a little bit, don't they? In San Antonio, the Nuggets 128, the Spurs 118 with the win. The Nuggets go to 54 and 28. They clinch the 3 seed. And with the loss, the Spurs finish out the season 62 and 20. They have the 2 seed in the Western Conference. In Oklahoma City, the Suns 135, the Thunder 103. The Suns go to 45 and 37 with the win. The Thunder finish off the season 64 and 18, but the Thunder are the number one team in the Western Conference. So, and the Suns also are in the playoffs. In Portland, the Trailblazers 122. The Sacramento Kings 110. With the win, uh, Portland goes to 42-40. They are in the tournament, either play in, we'll see, or the playoffs, we'll see. Or and with the loss, the Kings finish up the season 22-60. In Minnesota, the T Wolves 132. The New Orleans Pelicans 126. With the win, the T Wolves are 48 and they're 49 and 33, and with the loss, the Pelicans are 26 and 56, but the T Wolves are the 6th seed. Uh, in Houston, the Rockets are 132 to 101 victors. The Rockets go to 52 and 30 with the win. The Grizzlies finish the season 25 and 57 with the loss. In Dallas, the Mavericks 149, the Chicago Bulls 128. The Mavs finished the season 26 and 56. The Bulls finished the season 31 and 51. In Los Angeles, the Lakers 131, the Jazz 107. The Lakers with the win go to 53 and 29, and the Jazz finished the season 22 and 60. And in Los Angeles also, uh, the Clippers 115, the Warriors 110. The Clippers go to 42 and 40, and with the win, and the Warriors finish the season 37 and 45. Also, this game right here is a preview of one of the play-in games, or is part of the playoff, the play-in teams, as these two teams will face each other. Uh, I have to look at this. We'll look at that in a minute. So, so if we just go ahead and look how they finished the season through the standings, which we're about to do. For those of you, I'm not looking at the chat, but welcome in the sports chat with Mr. 33. I'm he, Mr. 33. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I'm not over here right now, but now we can go ahead and look at the total records in the season. So Detroit is the 1 seed. The Celtics are the 2 seed. The Knicks will be playing the Atlanta Hawks as a 3-6. And Cleveland will be playing the Toronto Raptors as the 4 or 5 seedings. Those games will be coming sometime this weekend. Now, the play-in games we'll be talking about. Philadelphia will be hosting the Orlando Magic in the play-in game, and the Hornets will be hosting the Miami Heat for the Eastern Conference play-in tournament. Well, we'll look at that bracket and we'll talk about that a little more extensively in just a second. The Thunder is the number 1 seed. The Spurs are the 2 seed. The Denver Nuggets will be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves as the 3-6 seed. The Los Angeles Lakers will be facing the Houston Rockets as the 4 or 5 seed. The Sun is the 7 seed. They will be hosting the Portland Trailblazers. And the Los Angeles Clippers will be hosting the Golden State Warriors. And in another playoff, the play-in tournament. So let's go ahead and look at the play-in tournament itself, right? So as we can see here, we share this tab with you. On Tuesday night, all of these games will be on Amazon Prime, but the first game in the Eastern Conference will be the Miami Heat versus the Charlotte Hornets. That'll be the Eastern Conference game, and the Portland Trailblazers will be playing the Phoenix Suns. And on Wednesday, we got the Orlando Magic versus the 76ers, and the Warriors will be at the Clippers. So on Tuesday night, the winner of the Miami and Charlotte game will be going on. The loser of this game will be going home. They won't be playing no more. And they will await the winners of the Orlando Magic and the Philadelphia 70. Excuse me. I reframe that. They the winner of the Miami and Charlotte game will be awaiting the loser of the Orlando Philadelphia game. So what that means is, so I got to go back and look at the records again, right? So because the 76ers are the seventh seed, if Orlando wins, they will become the seventh seed, and the Sixers will have another chance to be in the playoffs. They would just be playing the winners of the Charlotte Miami game. And in the Western Conference, it will be it'll be the same dynamic as the Golden State Warriors. The winner of the Golden State Warriors Clippers game will be awaiting the loser of the Portland Trailblazer and Phoenix Suns game. So that is is how the NBA playing goes. That's the way it's set up for that way. So 9 times out of 10, because Sunday, if let's see if they got the let's see if they put the games up already. I saw some of the games scheduled for next week. The playing teams are going to play Sunday, right? So the 1-8 teams will be playing on Sunday, the 18th. Let's see what's going on. Now they ain't put it up there yet per se, but that's the dynamics of what's going on in the NBA. Once again, for those that are here, I am Bungus. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, the Bucks have had a bad, they had a bad season. They've been damaged immensely by poor decisions about deciding to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo or not keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo. And now with the departing of Doc Rivers, this is going to be their third coaching assignment in the past 3 years. They got rid of Adrian Griffin for Doc Rivers, and they got Budenholzer. They got rid of Budenholzer for Adrian Griffin. So this is going to be another thing. But I don't know if they're going to keep Giannis per se. They may try to do a sign and trade or something to that extent. Try to get some draft picks. I don't see how that happens. But I know this much. They cannot let Giannis walk out the door and get nothing in return, because that's not a good look. And once Giannis leave, uh, it's safe to say that Milwaukee is going to struggle for the next few years. I understand they got Bobby Portis and all of these, but we see what happens this year. They didn't play too well with Giannis, and they didn't fare well at all without him. So it's going to be a tough way to look at, this event going forward. Um, for those Milwaukee Bucks. And let me just say this, anytime, we always in the world of sports, they say, if a player talks about retiring, they got one foot in and one foot out. And if that's the case, when a coach does it, it's the same dynamics. You can't sit there and tell a team that, you know what, I'm going to leave after the season and expect to do your best when you already got one foot out the door. We seen Travis Kelce, for example. He did that for a while. He did that all of last year, and he did not have a great season, right? Because he was talking about, playing and not playing. I think I'm gonna retire. And his numbers, his game, they it fell short of that, of his potential, because of the things that he used to do, the things that he would put on display. as I'm looking at inside the NBA though right now, let me give y'all a little update. Excuse me. The game one between the Rockets and the Lakers will be at 8:30 on ABC. That's game one, and on Sunday, the 2-7 seed in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics and whoever is the 7th seed will be at 1 o'clock Sunday, and the Thunder and whoever the 8th seed is going to be at 3:30 on ABC. So those are two of the games, as far as the first round on a Sunday. And like I said, those other two slots will probably be filled by the 1-8 seed in the East and the 2-7 in the West. So, but that's what they have. That's what Inside the NBA has announced. So I'm giving that to you as I'm looking at it. So that's the way that the playoffs is looking right now. Um, Yet in the meantime, you have uh, it was a great regular season. We saw an 83-point game by Bam Adebayo. We saw a lot of teams that nobody expected to be in the play-ins and playoffs rise to the occasion. The Spurs are one of the teams. A lot of people feel like they jumped up a little early as the young guns, and now they're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. You got the Detroit Pistons, uh, being the number 1 seed, but the most probably team that been talked about in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics started the season without Tatum, and a lot of people thought this was like a project year. I personally had them in the play in, or like 7-8 seed, but they are the number 2 seed. It just goes to show you, you know, it's funny because inside the NBA they were just talking about coaching doesn't matter and things like that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly because coaching is what you saw a lot of this year, right? You see a team like the Portland Trail Blazers. They started off the year with Chauncey Billups as a head coach. We know Chauncey Billups got caught up in that gambling situation, and Tiago Splitter came in and did the job, and now they're in position to be in the playoffs, right? Even though their record is 42-40, but they're in playoff positioning, right? So you got to give Tiago Splitter some credit because it's like, wait a minute, we see you was the assistant, now you came in and tried to implement your own thing, and now your team is in position for the playoffs. We see JB Bickerstaff and the Pistons. A lot of people said they were gonna be top 4. Not many people put them at the number 1 spot, and yet there they are. Uh, who else? We see the Charlotte Hornets come in. You know, they ringing bells, even though they're in playing contention. Nobody saw that coming. You see the Atlanta Hawks, they trade Trae Young, and they are in the 6th seed now when they were started off the season struggling. So you see the coaching dynamics is working. You see the Houston Rockets, they got Kevin Durant. They struggled a lot of the season, but here they are at the 5 seed. Uh, the T Wolves is up and down. The Suns, they did a thing without Kevin Durant. So as you can see, there's coaching that's always going to be involved in all sports. But we're just talking about basketball right now because there's some teams that that we didn't expect them to be there, and they're there. Now, on the other hand, you got teams like, the regular teams. You got the Warriors, they're in playing for the 3rd year in a row. The record is under 500. For a conference that was supposed to have been, overloaded or whatever the case may be, they're the only team in the playoff scenario that's under 500 is the Golden State Warriors, and that's a Western Conference team. You know, everybody said the East is weak and so on and so forth. It's a free fall, and that may be that may be a point. But when you have teams at the 500 mark, you know, hovering over the 500 mark, 5, 6, 7 games above 500, you can't say it was a very competitive league. You see what I'm saying? But when you got the Warriors, will they make enough? Will they do enough to overcome the Clippers this playing tournament? We'll find out in the next couple of days, Tuesday or Wednesday. But now we're in the playoff mode. Now we're starting to see things move around. We starting to see, we get the scenarios. We're gonna see the 3-6 seed, and we'll predict the playoff games. But if I have to choose the play in games, which I will do, I'm going to say that Charlotte is going to win against the Heat. I think Bam Adebayo is a great player, but there's just something about LaMelo Ball and Carl Knipple. Knipple. I don't even think I said his first name right, but he has to be in contention of Rookie of the Year. We know Cooper Flag had an outstanding rookie year, but it's something where you can help your team as a rookie get into playoff contention, and that's what the Charlotte Hornets are in right now. And that's another guy that could be considered the coach. I can't even remember the coach's name, to be quite honest with you, because nobody looked at Charlotte to be in this position to even be in a play-in scenario, let alone a, possibly winning a play-in situation, right? And as far as the Clippers, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard. Anytime that Kawhi Leonard plays, he does outstanding things. But I'm not saying Steph is not going to show out. I just think that Kawhi has a little bit more help on his team than Steph Curry does on his team. So I think they will win the 9-10 seed. As far as the Magic and Sixers, I'm going to go to the Sixers because I like Maxey and Edgecombe, and plus Paul George is coming back. Well, I think he'll do a little bit more. I get that Joel Embiid is out because of his appendix. We hope he gets well. That's a dude that he's injury prone, and it's sad because it cuts his career. He's gonna be one of those Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway conversationalists, right? What if he stayed healthy? What if he did? What if he played? All of these games that he missed more than he played games. What if? The what if question's always going to come up with Joel Embiid. But I think the Sixers have enough to overcome Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic. And then I think that the Hornets will defeat the Magic to get the 8 seed. So I'm gonna go with Charlotte coming out as the 8, Philly being the 7 seed. I'm going to go. I didn't pick Portland or the Suns. I think I think Phoenix wins against the Trailblazers. Like I said, I like the fact that Thiago Splitter got them in playing positioning, but I just like Devin. I just think Devin Booker is an elite player. He's one of the top name. He's the top player, and I think he rocks well with his teammates more than I know they got Adija and Kamara and Klingon and those guys. So, but I'm gonna lean with the Suns to win that, and then I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean with the Clippers defeating the Trailblazers. So the Suns will be the 7th seed. The Clippers will get in as an 8 seed. So those are my predictions or the play-in tournament. Like I said, we'll have that conversation on Friday as these numbers, get look. We'll start to find out what time the other teams are playing. I think, me personally, I think the 3-6 and the 3-6 and the 4-5 will all play Saturday, and I think all the ones and two seeds will play Sunday as they finalize the playing tournament on Friday. So I think they'll all play Sunday, and the 3-6s and the two, excuse me, the 3-6s and the 4 and 5 will play, in both conferences will play Saturday afternoon and evening. But we'll have that conversation uh, Friday night to predict those games and those tournaments as we go forward. Yeah, but but back to the regular season, we saw the Knicks win the in season tournament. We, like I said, we saw the upstarts do very, very well. The Trailblazers, the Sun, the Spurs, the Pistons. We see OKC kept their winning ways. It's gonna be a tough decision for MVP. I would like to, I'm going to post, the total stats. Congratulations to Jokic as being the first big man in a very long time. I want to say Wilt to average a triple double in a regular season. That's going to keep his name relevant in the MVP conversation, as well as Wembyamba, as well as SGA. But I need to know uh, who's eligible to win these things. First team, second team, third team, All NBA, Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. I have to do all of that before I can go ahead and make those predictions. And I also want to do this. Like I said, I want to have the stats as far as who led the league in scoring. I believe Luka did, but I don't know if he's going to be eligible to be on that list. We know that Jokic is one of the top rebounders in the NBA, and we know that Jokic is one of the top assist men in the NBA. So when I get to all of those situations, as I post those stats and things like that, I will be able to look at it, read it, and then come to my conclusion who the MVP may be, who's the comeback player of the year may be, who the rookie of the year is going to be. But we saw a lot of things that happened. Like I said, in the season, we saw a rising of a Carl Knipple. We saw Cooper Flag. He started off a little slow, but he came into the player he became at the end of the season. We see the Lakers play good basketball, then they fell apart, then they played again. Now with these injuries, we have to figure out, is Luka going to play in the first round? Is Austin Reeves going to play in the first round? Or this is going to be a LeBron versus KD episode one-on-one? Because there's no, well, KD do have a Sengun, so it's going to be interesting. That's why I said I'll do those predictions on Friday as we head towards, the weekend and game ones of the actual NBA playoffs, not the play-in tournament. So, we looked at all of those things. We see what's happening with that. A lot of good things. Who, like I said, coach of the years, that's going to be up for grabs. There's a lot of postseason scenarios that's going to come and go, but we're going to do our best to keep you. Look, as I'm talking to you, they said Nikola Jokic led the NBA in rebounds at 12.9 and assists. So Jokic is the assist leader for this year, the NBA, and the rebounding leader for the NBA. So you have to acknowledge that man had a great year. That means he averaged a triple double as a center. So it's hard to discount that. You can't discredit something that hasn't been done in about 60 years. So you gotta acknowledge the greatness of a Nikola Jokic. So he, like I said, his name will be in the conversation. I don't know if he'll win. I don't know if he'll come in second or third. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people voting for Wembanyama. Is Wembanyama going to be the defensive player of the year? As he averaged about 3 blocks a game? So it's a lot of things. And did he even get to the 65 game plateau to even qualify for all of these things? So we got a few days to go ahead and look at that. We got a few days to elaborate who did what, who we think is going to do, and like I said, Friday we'll lay all of that on the table. Um, but yeah, we saw the shocks of the year. We saw the Celtics come out of nowhere to become the number 2 seed, winning the Atlantic Division. We saw the trades of for James Harden to the Cavs. We seen a lot of different things to where, okay, a lot of people might say Cleveland is in a good position. A lot of people, you know, because the Knicks, they made it to the Eastern Conference Final. The expectation for the Knicks were high. Uh, you see, and so nobody thought the Hawks were going to be. Quinn Snyder did a great job because they got rid of their top player and still kept playing, and they made it to the 6th seed. The Raptors did pretty good. They're the 5 seed. Nobody saw that coming. So big shout out to Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes and R.J. Barrett and Quigley and those guys for being, middle of the pack team as far as 4-5 area. So it's a lot. So but the playoffs are here, and I'm definitely excited about that. Um, you know, and like I said, it'll begin this weekend, but we got to get to the play-ins. And I already said I got who did I say? I said I got the Hornets being the 8 and Philly being 7. Western Conference, I had the Suns and 8 seed would be the Clippers. That's my prediction. But we'll see Friday if I was right or wrong. And then we can go, like I said, we can go ahead and have the conversation going forward about the NBA playoffs. So uh, that's the gist of everything. So I'm super excited about that. Uh, I don't want to talk about the NFL probe into the Diana Rossini and Vrabel. That's not, it's crazy, but it's not crazy. That's something that they do. But for the insider to get get the info and play around with the head coach, and that's not my, I don't have a, I, I don't even, it's sports related, but I don't want to talk about it because it's not affecting the sport of the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, it's not affecting that at all. So I don't want to touch that. Then we got the Jaden Ivory situation. I just, like I said the other day, I don't think you can just tell people if people are not willing to accept it. If you want to be that religious person, you have to follow that religion all the way to the T. If the Bible tells you dust your sandals off, if they don't embrace you or accept you, you dust your sandals off and keep it moving. If you feel like you're doing the right thing, you're gonna get into a situation to where, hey, either they're gonna accept me or not. They're gonna accept my word or not. And now you just got cut by the Chicago Bulls because of your religious views or whatever it is that they're saying is what occurred for your actual uh waive your waiver as they waived you. So religion and sports, they don't really they shouldn't really be together, and this is one of the reasons why. You could tear up a locker room. You could do a lot of things. You could make sure the team is not together in unison. because of a religious idea, religious view, or whatever the case may be. Uh, so it's a lot that's been going on, and the world of hockey is getting ready to start their playoffs. I think that's next week. Uh, Congratulations to Rory McIlroy. He defends his green jacket at the Masters with a one-shot victory over Scotty Scheffler at 12 under par. Uh, it wasn't a pretty thing, as Rory McIlroy was leading by 6 shots. Uh, but today he shot today he shot even. He shot a 72 today. He went in with shooting a 12. He ended the tournament shooting a 12 under par. So, but he did defend the championship. He defended the jacket. He defended the trophy. He won it. So congratulations to him. Uh, as you can see, I do watch a lot of different sports. So, anytime you want to talk about a different sport, you type in the chat, and we can discuss whatever sport it is. We saw Tyson Fury come back and regain. Well, he got the victory. Now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua. I don't know if that's a good idea. I think that they may need a little bit more time. Now, if it's like sometime like the beginning of next year, that would be a good fight. But if it's like a rush fight, I don't think that'll be a fight worth viewing. I think they will both need the time to get themselves together in order to get in the ring against one another. Um, but that's just the gist of what's going on in the world of sports. Now tomorrow night we'll be talking about what happened on Monday Night Raw, as we do cover WWE as they're heading into their WrestleMania, which is next Saturday and Sunday. Uh, Saturday and Sunday they'll start at 6 p.m. The first hour of WrestleMania on Saturday will be seen on ESPN2. On Sunday, the first hour will be seen on ESPN. So you can watch some of WrestleMania on the Worldwide Sports Leader if you have but most people may have the ESPN package and not know it. But if you don't, you can watch the first hour of Saturday. It will be Jey Uso and LA Knight versus The Vision and I Show Speed. And I can't remember who the second one is. To save my life. That will be Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. On Sunday, it will be Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi on ESPN, and the Intercontinental Ladder match will be on ESPN. So those are the two matches that will be on ESPN and ESPN2 next weekend. But we'll discuss what happened as far as what happened on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. We'll recap that and see what if any major events happen. Or I don't think it will. Like, they haven't announced any matches as far as Monday Night Raw. So I think they'll just have the participants of WrestleMania pop up, have conversations, maybe throw a couple of blows to that extent. There's no world title matches up for grabs unless the Vision, because their belts are not up for grab, is going to be a part of that. If they're going to do it or not. So I don't see how that, if they do have a match for the title, it will be that title, the World Tag Team or the World Tag Team Champion. We know that the ladies on SmackDown, the Irresistible Forces, they will be in a Fatal 4-Way. So that tag match is, that belt won't be up for grabs on SmackDown. So they're just getting you ready for WrestleMania moment. We will follow that all the way through as well. But anyhow, the scores and the standings and the brackets and all of those things, it was brought to you by the 9%. It's brought to you in part by the 9%, where better you is a better us. Um, Shout out to the 9% for helping me get to this, place that I am right now, you know, with their support and things of that nature. Uh, but with that being said, we done spoke about most of the sports. Uh, Whether it was quick touched or long winded, that's another conversation for another day. But we will be back around this time tomorrow talking about Monday Night Raw. We will talk about anything related to sports, any news breaking that happens. We might see some more coaches get fired after tonight, maybe tomorrow. We don't know, but if that breaks, any news breaks, I will be on top of it. Whether it's the post or a post and a conversation tomorrow night, we will be there to have it. So with that being said, I am I am Bungus. I appreciate you stopping by. Just give your team a little bit more time. They may be in a rebuilding process. They have a chance to win the lottery this year. So who knows? They may gain something good out of that pick, or they may gain some more first round picks if Giannis signs off on a trade or something to that extent. So, but you hold your head. It was a rough year for you guys, the Milwaukee Bucks. And it was hard. It's a tough pill to swallow. The thought of losing your one of your great players. Um, Whether he's the greatest player in the franchise, that's another story. But when you think about losing a Giannis or losing a Luka Doncic, as Dallas learned last year, they lucked up and got Cooper Flag, but they didn't have a good year because he played by himself. No Anthony Davis, no Kyrie Irving, things like that. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. It could just be green because the grass could be artificial. You see what I mean? So you got to be careful on the decisions you make. And speaking of decisions, that's why this year on this channel we're going to have a fantasy league, NFL fantasy league, because it's easy to say, we got to get rid of this person, get rid of that person. Now with this fantasy league that we're having this year for the NFL, you get to be the GM. You get to say who you want to keep, who you want to sign on your team, who you want to play, who you going to sit in this in a weekly situation. You get the opportunity to do that. But we'll go more into depth about the fantasy league as we get past the NFL draft and start looking at mini camps and preseason in the NFL. That's around August, so we'll go more into that. But we are definitely trying to do an NFL fantasy league. It's going to be free to participate, free to join. Just leave your name in the community wall. We'll set it up to where you can you'll be a part of the draft. I think the draft will be on the live. We will probably do a live draft on the channel. So we're revving up. We're getting ready. But right now we're just ready for the NBA playoffs. And like I said, we'll stay in touch with that. But tomorrow is going to be the recap of Raw once again. We will be back on tomorrow to have that conversation. And with that being said, from the Channel 9 studio, this is Mr. 33 signing off. I'll see you guys in 23 hours. Appreciate everybody stopping by. I'm out.